Okay, so for me, I just wanted to do one video basically reviewing on everything I've seen on the basically woman sphere side of YouTube. Basically, I wanted to just basically do a video basically talking about how specifically I kind of like think of some of the content that I've watched in regards to their reactions to specifically the Just Pearly Thing situation. First, one thing I wanted to talk about was I kind of find it really delusional and really crazy how some people will literally put on makeup and possibly other aesthetics, and specifically try and act like other people are so much less attractive than them. But the but being completely honest here, look, Just Pearly Things isn't even really wearing much makeup many of the time, but she's still more attractive than someone with makeup and some other accessories that are possibly there. I kind of find it really, really interesting when some of the black women YouTube content creators really try to go in on her looks when it's like, um, on that basis, I don't think you should be, really honestly. Just saying. Maybe stick to saying I have a big butt, but on your facial features, that's really not gonna work. And I think the reason why, this is a major reason why black women are seen as unattractive, honestly. And a major reason why a lot of black women are viewed as specifically people who are, um, that black people in general, for that matter, it's not just black women, it's black people. Black people are generally thought to think they're more attractive than what they are, many of the time. And sometimes people will even say that a black woman is attractive for being a black woman. And this is not for color, because dark skinned black women always the ones who are trying to so badly claim anything that was negatively assumed on black women to mean dark skinned black women, when it could just mean black women in general, like this brown skinned black woman. By the way, she is not dark skinned, even though she tries to lie and say she is. Anyway, so my point is that I'm just specifically saying that I just kind of find it really interesting when people like this try and act like, they are more attractive with a lot of different aesthetics helping them along the way to just be maybe as attractive as the person they're trying to deem as less attractive than them, which you can see mathematically. It's how the face is analyzed. I do not do this myself. It's actually through a beauty analysis that specifically shows how beautiful or attractive your face is. And you can see that she cannot reach the same level of beauty, basically. That's just what it is. Now, my thing is that's just one small thing of it. But I want to get into it because Cynthia G specifically talked a lot about this situation and tried to talk about how white women who are with black men are throwbacks. Specifically, she even reacted to my comment on her channel, apparently. She did not know Conservative Observer was my name, apparently. But, yeah. I have a screenshot. So, Cynthia G, I know you will probably try to remove the comment, but I have the screenshot. But anyway, so she was specifically saying that white women were throwbacks when it comes to being with black men. Now, I just think that this is counterproductive to say things like this, because if you're really saying that, then you're basically saying that you are naturally dirt, or you are naturally trash, or you are naturally just beneath everybody. Reason why I say that is specifically because if she is a throwback for being with black men, then what are you when you are with black men? You've only been with black men. You've only been taught to be with black men, and you think that you should be with a black man. That means you are specifically trash no matter what. You're naturally trash just because you're black. How is that specifically presenting to white people? It's specifically presenting to white people that black people in general are a lesser people than white people. That's what it's presenting, and for me, I just don't really agree with that. I don't think that black people are less than white people. I think everyone's equal regardless of your race. But saying that white women are throwbacks when they're with black men implies that you are naturally trash. You are naturally below everybody. So, I mean, like, why do you self defame yourself like this just to try to attack a white woman with a black man? Do you even recognize what you're doing to yourself, or do you just not care because you feel like it's true anyway? And I feel like, honestly, with these situations, it's kind of like, okay, so if you really feel this way, maybe you shouldn't tell white people that you feel that way, or any race of people that you feel that way. Go to therapy, get some help. You know, keep those thoughts to yourself and to a therapist who can help you, but don't just outwardly say that for no apparent reason, you know. So that's one part of it. I do not appreciate that people have this mentality of like saying that white people in general, and this is not just white women for that matter. I think that with when black men say the same thing with white black women with white men, you know, it's stupid because what it's saying is that you are less than, basically. Because you're not saying that black men are less than because they're men. You're saying they're less than, and they can only qualify for the lower types of white people because they're black, which means that black people do not deserve the very best out of other races because you think that black people are inferior human beings. You think that black people are inferior human beings on both sides, honestly, with this type of argument. When people had this argument for black women, when they say black women can never be specifically with men of other races because they are black women, you aren't saying that they are um, that way because they're women. You're saying that they can only have access to the lowest of the low of men because they're black. And the people saying it many of the time are black men and things of that nature, or black women, like Cynthia G, like Six, and so forth. And to me, it's like, I don't understand. How are you saying that you are a lesser human being and thinking that that is somehow a positive thing about you? You're obviously saying you are an inferior human being, and that's why you have a low self-esteem of your blackness. Now, that's my whole point on that whole issue, really, to me. Um, I kind of feel like one other thing. I kind of feel like it's weird that people talk about racism with this whole situation. Like, why are we specifically talking about racism with this situation when we're specifically just saying that, you know, um, you think that specifically just Pearly Things was racist or Nick Fuentes was racist, but anyone can look at those live streams, you can look at the interviews and so forth, and you can see that specifically there was no racism on either part, on either behalf. You can see she was a little insensitive when she was talking about slavery in some of her comments. But that doesn't equate to someone being racist, especially when someone says it's wrong, that slavery was still wrong, but they just have a different opinion on it. I really think it's like you guys don't even know how to address the situation, because you could really actually address it with talking about the content that she has to talk about. I personally am subscribed to her channel, and I do follow her channel. I do not agree with everything that she says, and I've said that in many other videos, that I do not agree with everything she says. I just don't agree with the accusations being thrown at her, like saying she's racist. I do not agree with saying that Nick Fuentes is racist. I do not see either of those individuals as racist. I do not specifically see her on her channel specifically singling out black women. I see that she talks about black women and women of other races, basically. You can see plenty of women of other different races who are basically criticized on that channel. I've featured her videos and her content on my channel several times, and I've specifically shown how she talks to plenty of different races. In the times I've watched, specifically, I've seen different situations where she's specifically talking to women of her own race, from what I've seen. So it's kind of like weird that people say she's singling out black women when it's like she's not singling out black women. But I would say that specifically, it's just kind of like, I kind of feel like there's plenty of content where you could criticize her or debate her specifically. And I kind of find it weird that nobody addresses the content that would be more of a concern. I don't even understand how black men don't take offense or see it as a problem to be depicted in a more violent sense, in a sense that is more fearsome, in a sense that is more dangerous. Do you want to basically perpetuate that view of yourself? Because, I mean, like, I've literally watched a video where specifically there's this man specifically talking about how how he specifically has strength, and he has specifically the ability to beat up and to attack women just because they make him angry. One woman was specifically saying that you shouldn't even be blamed if you are specifically saying things that anger men to make him want to beat you up, basically. And, this is a problem among the black community, honestly, I think. I see it more with black people than white people. And the people talking about it were black. She did not make the black people say the things they said. But specifically, it's interesting to me because it's like, okay, if you think that you're depicted poorly, or that you don't like how you're particularly depicted, or maybe you do like it, maybe you do like to be perceived as violent, dangerous, and to have some kind of issue like that. Maybe that's what you're more into. I don't know. But to me, it's like, I think that's more of what you should be more concerned about than actually trying to use false allegations against people. I would like more debate over the topic she's talking about than just talking about racism, 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 racism. It would be much more entertaining, would have much more value to the conversation if people specifically actually address the topics she brings up instead of talking about specifically racist allegations that aren't even real, you know. And I've already talked about how the racist allegations are not real. If you don't know or you haven't watch the past videos. But my point in this whole conversation is I just feel like the outrage is weird to me because it's like there's so many things that you should be more concerned about than racism. There's way worse things that someone can do than be racist. I mean, being a wife beater is way, way, way worse than specifically, you know, being a person who specifically is just racist. And she's not even a racist after all of that. I'm not saying that she is. I do not see her as racist. I do not think she's racist. That's just not what I think about her. But my point is, it's just saying that specifically, I just don't get why people are having this situation where they specifically are trying to say that she's a racist to avoid what she's actually saying. Is what she's saying right? If you agree with her, then agree with her. You know, I personally have this situation where I am subscribed to her. So I am subscribed to her because she's conservative. I like some of her political beliefs. But she isn't that political, obviously. But I do like some of those things that she has to say. And that's why I subscribe. But there's plenty of things that I don't agree with, like I said, with like saying that men should be able to beat up women because they're angry. That's not my thing. I would never promote violence. And I do think that having a black man talk about that and talk about how he wants to beat up black women is not really making black men look good, honestly. So that's part of what I have to say here. Also, what else do I want to talk about specifically? I also wanted to address that specifically. I feel like some people claiming that it makes black men look badly or things of that nature. To me, I do not really think that black men look badly because of her on the basis of anything that was said on a racial aspect. I think that honestly, black men and black people who interact with white people are always called white worshippers and things of that nature. So, I mean, like, that's just the oldest trick in the book. Like, it's stale. It's nothing creative. It's nothing new, really, you know? So, to me, it's not really that important. But to me, it's just like, yeah, I don't see, like, black men as painted in a bad light in that regard. I think that in the sense of saying that like you're going to beat someone up because they make you angry and then depicting a black man saying that, it makes a context of the situation that is really not favorable to black men. But I do not think that specifically just interacting with a white person makes them white worshiping or whatever. That's just weird to me. Now, one other thing I wanted to say was I do think that it is opening up a Pandora box, basically, when they have black men talk about things like this, like beating women up, things like that, like trying to say like if a woman gets on your nerves, you're going to attack her and abuse her and things of that nature. If it's depicted by a black man, especially when there are multiple races, it's going to make a black man look dangerous. And especially in the idea of interracial relationships, it's not a good look for black men. That's one of the stereotypes against black men is that they will be violent against women of other races. So I do not think that that's a good look there. But that's all I have to say in this video. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, everyone. Have a great day. Bye, guys.